Laura Matt, Elena Irabon, Ray Lovely, and their teacher-coach, Peter Crystal. And now here's the team from Yorkton Regional High School. Meet Murray Rennie, Gavin McLaren, Mike Adamiak, Dave Paulmark, and their teacher-coach, Dave McVeigh. Hi, I'm Howard Thornton. Welcome to Reach for the Top. Before we get today's game underway, let's meet our judge, Peter Smith. And now here's the man with all the questions and answers. Here's our quizmaster, Sean O'Shea.
Thank you very much, Howard, and we'll get right to the game now. We'll start off with some short snappers. Who was the Trojan soothsayer who warned her countrymen not to accept Murray?
Cassandra.
Right. Two famous British actors died within a few days of each other in Switzerland in 1984, Mike.
David Niven and, I don't know.
No. One was Richard Burton. Who was the other, O'Neill? The other was James Mason. The Hôtel de Dieu, founded in Quebec in 1639, established what important first for Canada? Don't know, that was the first hospital. What are the given and family names of the major male and female characters in Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind? Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara. Oils, fats, and what other compound are the three most abundant simple lipids? Mike?
Carbohydrates.
No. O'Neill? Don't know, that was waxes. Here's a history question now. It happened 452 years ago that Henry VIII was secretly married to Dawn. Mike?
Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn is right, his second marriage. Whom did Henry divorce in order to marry Anne, Mike?
Catherine of Aragon.
Correct. What had Anne promised Henry that Catherine, Mike?
A son.
A male heir is right. Her promise did not come about. Instead, the child born was a girl. What did Gavin?
Elizabeth I.
That's right. What did she grow up to be? Queen Elizabeth I. Here's a question on silver now. Pure silver is too soft to stand up under constant wear. It is usually mixed with another metal to form an alloy, which is then made into commercial articles such as coins and silverware. With which metal is it usually, Murray?
Copper.
That's right. It's usually combined with copper. Practically all the silver produced in Europe is obtained from which lead sulfide ore? Galena. What word taken from the name of an English penny has been used to mean high quality, Mike?
Sterling.
That's right, high quality silver. Silver is the most malleable and ductile of all metals with the exception, Mike?
Gold.
With the exception of gold, that is correct. Time for the first of our 10-point specials. Teams, watch your monitors. Rearrange all the letters you see on your monitors and you'll discover Peter Pan's unseen friend. Elena?
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell is right for 10 points. Now a question on medical discoveries. Name the American medical researcher who developed the oral polio vaccine. Gavin?
Salk.
O'Neill? The answer was Albert Sabin. Before 1961, how were vaccines against polio given? Mike?
Injection.
By injection is right. The Sabin vaccine is easier to give than the earlier vaccine, and its effects last longer. Who was the researcher who developed the first Gavin?
Salk.
Jonas Salk is correct for 10 points. Now a question on portraits, teams. Watch your monitors and listen for the following questions. Anthony van Dyck painted the Marchesa Grimaldi over 300 years ago. The Grimaldi family today is represented by the ruler of what European, Mike?
Monaco.
What European state? Monaco is correct. All right, our second question. Jan Vermeer's famous painting of the lady with a pearl necklace hangs in the Kaiser Friedrich Museum in what city? Mike?
Berlin.
Correct. Modigliani did this famous portrait. What was his first name? Mike?
Paul.
No. O'Neill, do you know? Colin?
Pierre.
No, Amadeo. Who is the famous film star? Who's the famous film star,
Marilyn
Mike?
Monroe.
Sorry?
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe is right. Okay, and who am I question now, and this is worth 40 points if you get it with the first clue. It diminishes by 10 with each clue given. I was born at the beginning of World War I. Began my career with the Pacific Coast League in 1932, but left it, Mike?
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio is correct for 40 points. Now we go to a two-part team question, scramble for 5 points, and we'll have 3 questions following it. Before he reached the age of 30, this intrepid explorer had discovered the mighty river system that bears his name and had blazed the first overland trail to the Pacific.
Mackenzie.
David?
Mackenzie.
I need a first name.
Alexander.
Alexander Mackenzie is right for 5 points. In Yorkton, you take the next 3 questions. They all deal with Mackenzie and his voyages. Mackenzie made 2 voyages into the unknown. His second voyage led him to the Pacific. His first voyage led to what body of water?
Beaufort Sea.
David?
The Beaufort Sea.
I'll accept
No?
that.
Okay. Or the Arctic Ocean. All right, a coastal inlet north of Vancouver marks the end of the second historic odyssey. What is its name?
Bellacoola.
David?
Bellacoola.
No, the Dean Channel. And before beginning his explorations, Mackenzie worked as a trader with what company? David?
Northwest Company.
Northwest Company is right. All right, a question on music now. Identify these performing teams, both past and present. A commercially successful soft rock pop duo. What are we looking for here? Mike?
Simon and Garfunkel.
No. O'Neill, do you know for 10 points? The answer there, Seals and Crofts. All right, our second question now. Mike?
Hall & Oates.
That's right, both of them grew up in Philadelphia. Third piece of music now. These two harmonized together in grade, Gavin.
Simon and Garfunkel.
That's right, grade 6 in Forest Hills, New York. And finally, the partnership of this husband and wife team ended in divorce. Colin?
The Simons.
No, Yorkton, you know. Mike?
Sonny and Cher.
Sonny and Cher is right for 10 points. Some short snappers now. What is the Italian term for baked clay figures and dishes? It means literally cooked earth. Murray?
Terracotta.
Right. In which Canadian national park is found the last breeding grounds of the whooping crane? Gavin?
Wood buffalo.
Right. What is the official currency of Greece? Mike?
The Drachma.
Correct. Most species of marsupial are found in Australia, but Mike?
Wallaby.
No, but which one is native to North America, O'Neill? Ray?
Possum.
That's right. And what Florentine artist painted the birth of Venus? Mike?
Botticelli.
That is correct, and it is halftime, with Yorkton leading by a score of 265-20 unofficially.
We'll give both teams a chance to increase their score when Reach for the Top returns after this.
And O'Neill 20. Howard?
We've got some great prizes for students competing this year on Reach for the Top. First of all, we have a $1,000 scholarship to be awarded to this season's provincial championship team. And we have a $500 scholarship to be awarded to the provincial runners-up. In addition, at the provincial finals, the 3 flight winners will be competing for possession of the Reach for the Top trophy. And the provincial championship team will win an all-expense-paid trip to the national finals, which are being held in Moncton, New Brunswick this year. And now to get our second round of questions and answers underway, back to our quizmaster, Sean O'Shea.
And we're into assigned question time now. Teams, buzz in when you know the answer, and we'll have 2 questions for each pair of players. Okay, first of all, for Murray and Colin, what we're in search of here are saints, which occur in each of the answer we seek. Think of saints. 2 questions for Colin and Murray. It is an island in the South Atlantic where a former emperor died in 1821. Murray?
St. Helena.
That is correct. Your second question now. A voluntary organization that provides, among other services, first aid training. Colin?
Blue Cross.
No. Murray, do you know?
St. John Ambulance.
That is right. Now for Gavin and Laura. It is the historic cathedral that is the focal point of Venice. Nobody knows that is St. Mark's. Your second question, it is an improved system of North American canals and locks for seagoing vessels. It was completed, Laura.
St. Lawrence Seaway.
That's right, completed in 1959. Now over to Mike and Alina. It is the chief cathedral of the Roman Catholic Church,
St.
Mike.
Peter's Basilica.
That is correct. And he's the patron saint of England. He made short shrift, Mike.
St. George.
That's right, short shrift of fire-breathing dragons. Now for Ray and David. February 14th, 1929, what name has been given to that day's gang murder in Big Bad Chicago? Don't know that? St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And it has been twice renamed since then. We want the name of the old winter capital of imperialistic Russia. David.
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg is right. Now a question on naval history. What were the names of the 2 American Civil War ships that fought the first battle?
The Monitor and the Merrimack.
That is right, the first battle between the ironclads, March 8, 1862. What new class of battleship designed by the British in the early 20th century rendered all, David?
Dreadnought.
Dreadnought is right. What German battleship terrorized the North Atlantic, Mike?
The Bismarck.
That's right, in early 1941. And which British battleship, the pride of her Mike?
The Queen Mary.
No, the pride of His Majesty's fleet in the Second World War was sunk by the Bismarck, May 24, 1941. O'Neill? We wanted the HMS Hood. Here's a question now on boxing. To what sport does the Latin-derived term pugilism apply? Mike?
Boxing.
Very good. Pugilu is Latin, that's right. Contemporary boxing generally observes the code of rules, Mike?
Marquis of Queensberry?
Carter Verrill is named after that individual, correct. What is the term given to a boxer who weighs not more than 51 kilos? Mike?
Light heavyweight?
No, O'Neill. Laura?
Featherweight?
No, flyweight. And finally, what American boxer was the heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926, Mike?
Corbett?
No, O'Neill. Elena?
Dempsey?
Jack Dempsey is right for 10 points. Now a question on music. Listen to these selections and identify both the composers and their country of origin. Colin?
Wolfgang Mozart, Austria.
That is correct. Well done. All right, our second piece of music now. A 19th century composer of many...
Peter
Colin.
Tchaikovsky, Russia.
That's right, many ballet scores. Now our third piece of music. This composer's tone poem is practically a national symbol. Colin.
Jean Sibelius, Finland.
That is correct. And our final piece of music. The prolific pianist who lived with French novelist Gavin.
Gould, Canada.
No, with French novelist Colin.
Chopin, Poland.
That is correct for another 10 points. Next question now for 10 points. The entire question will be dealing with the role played by women in the 1984 Canadian federal election. Identify by name the following women from the descriptions I give. This lady, although a candidate, was also the president of the Gavin.
Iona Campanella.
That is correct. The lady who held the portfolio which made her responsible for the status of women. Elena.
Jean Sauvé?
No, Yorkton. We wanted Judy Arola. This lady eventually won her seat and was made Minister of Energy. David?
Pat Carney.
Correct. Although not a candidate herself, this lady assisted her husband through a campaign for the top position. David?
Mila Mulroney.
Correct. A former Minister of External Affairs in a previous government. Gavin?
Flora MacDonald.
That's right. She won re-election. Another open question, teams. What is the technical name for something which is designed and intended to disguise, conceal, or hide? Often used by the military, it commonly occurs, Mike.
Camouflage?
Correct. Which animal, a marsupial, commonly camouflages himself in pretending, Mike?
Opossum?
Pretending to be dead, right. Which lizard-like creature gives the appearance, Gavin?
Chameleon.
That's right, gives the appearance of changing color. And finally, a type of fish is capable of puffing itself up and being covered, Elena? Covered with spines, appears to be a spiked piece of coral. What fish is it? Yorkton? David?
The puffer.
No, it's a porcupine fish. Now a chance at 40 points in this what am I question. It'll diminish by 10 points for each clue I give. It is a provincial capital founded by people from the United States when they came to Canada after the Revolutionary War. What city is it for 40 points, Mike?
Edmonton.
No. O'Neill, do you know for 40? Colin?
Halifax.
No. Second clue for 30 points. It is in the heart of one of the richest hunting and fishing districts in Canada's east. What city is it? Mike?
Ottawa.
No. O'Neill? Elena?
Vancouver.
No. All right, for 20 points, it is on the banks of the St. John River and was named, David?
Fredericton.
Fredericton is right for 20 points. Another open question, teams. Canadian railway history was made in May of 1881 when an ex-U.S. military engineer discovered a route over the Selkirks. What was discovered?
Rogers Pass.
The Rogers Pass is right. The route through the Selkirks has been a tremendous challenge to man's ingenuity. What famous spiral tunnel opened in 1913 to ease the downgrade in the pass area? We're looking there for the Connaught Tunnel. For many years, the CPR has desired to make changes in the Rogers Pass area. A controversial act was passed by Parliament in 1983 has caused them to proceed. What was the name of that act? Mike?
Crow's Nest Pass Freight Rate?
No. O'Neill? Don't know. That was the Western Grain Transportation Act. Finally, prior to the Western Grain Transportation Act and its promise of new rates for freight,
Crow's
Mike?
Rate. Crow's Rate.
No, for rail freight, Western farmers enjoyed the protection of an act which used the name of another famous mountain pass. Which one, O'Neill, for 10 points? Colin.
Crow's Nest Pass.
The Crow's Nest Pass is what we were looking for there. Now time for a 10-point special, teams. These 8 letters, when rearranged, will reveal a popular homegrown garden product. Mike?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes or tomatoes is correct for 10 points. All right, 10 points for each correct answer coming up. Identify these famous world figures, all of whom died in 1984. Son of a railroad worker who became head of the Soviet KGB, Mike?
Andropov.
That's right. Son of a Welsh coal miner, later he became a preeminent Mike.
Burton.
Richard Burton is right. The brassy, classy American singer who became a fixture on Broadway and in movie musicals. She was fond of saying, quote, I just stand up and holler and hope my voice, Elena?
Ethel Merman.
Ethel Merman is right. Hope my voice holds out. The American guru of jogging who wrote the best-selling Gavin.
Jim Fix.
That's right, complete book of jogging. Only 1 month old, this California infant made news, Mike.
Baby Faye?
Baby Faye is right. Recipient of a simian's heart. Here's a question on international events now. The following quote, justice has been done to India's Hitler, came from a spokesman for which religious sect? Murray.
The Sikh.
Right. Who was the so-called Hitler he was referring to? Colin?
Indira Gandhi.
Right. Sikhs were especially angry at Gandhi's order to assault an important religious temple. Mike?
The Golden Tower?
Important religious temple? Name the temple in the city which it is located in. O'Neill.
Golden Temple, Amritsar.
That is correct. Sikhs are concentrated in one of India's northern states. Mike?
Punjab.
That is right. And Punjabi Sikhs and others want an independent Sikh state created from the Punjab. What do they call this proposed new state? The answer there is Khalistan. Question on astronomy now. Which has the stronger individual gravitational pull, the North or the South Pole? Mike?
North.
No, O'Neill. Colin?
South.
Actually, you're both wrong. Neither. They are exactly the same pole. What is the universal language used when coded messages are beamed into space to try and contact other life forms? David?
Binary.
No. O'Neill, do you know? Colin?
CT.
No, mathematics. And in what year is Halley's Comet next due? Mike?
1986.
That is right. Question on spelling now. Keeping in an existing state, spell maintenance. Gavin?
M-A-I-N-T-E-N-A-N-C-E.
Correct. Second question. Not readily noticeable, spell inconspicuous. Gavin?
I-N-C-O-N-S-P-I-C-I-O-U-S.
No. O'Neill. Colin?
I-N-C-O-N-S-P-I-C-I-U-S.
No. I-N-C-O-N-S-P-I-C-U-O-U-S. Third one. A person who collects and studies postage and imprinted stamps, spell Gavin.
P-H-I-L-A-T-E-L-I-S-T.
Philatelist is right for 10 points. Now a team question. We scramble for 5 points. Name the single bone that almost completely encloses the brain. Mike?
The skull.
The skull is right, and you'll deal with the next 4 questions. They all deal with the human body, Yorkton. Counting the fused as single, how many vertebrae make up the spinal column that supports the skull?
23?
Mike?
23.
No, 26. What is the scientific name of the shin bone?
Tibia?
Mike?
Tibia.
Tibia is right. On what 2 appendage groups would one find phalanges?
Fingers and toes. Fingers and
Mike?
toes.
Fingers and toes is right. And give the scientific name for the collarbone.
Clavicle?
Yeah.
Mike?
Clavicle.
Clavicle is right. Now a question on games. Most gambling casinos are lacking 2 things commonly found in most places frequented by humans. They are usually without windows, and what is missing on the inside? Something you'll never find are clocks. But while clocks and windows are not popular with casino operators, dice are. The numbers on opposite sides of a die.
7.
Mike? 7 is right. That's what they add up to. Who was the outstanding Russian writer who was a compulsive gambler? He wrote a novel entitled The Gambler, also Crime and Punishment. Colin?
Dostoevsky.
Yorkton? Mike?
Tolstoy.
No, Dostoevsky. On the chessboard we see the king, queen, bishop, knight, and pawn. What is the alternate name applied? Gavin?
Rook.
The rook is right. At one time it was called tables and trick track. What is the popular name for the same game today? Mike?
Backgammon?
Backgammon is right. Another open question now. What Hollywood actor characterized by his slow, drawling speech? Gavin?
James Stewart.
That is right. One of Jimmy Stewart's first screen appearances was in what 1936 operetta with Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy in a Hollywood vision of Canada? David?
The Ride of the Royal Mounted.
No. O'Neill. We're looking for Rose Marie. Stewart won an Academy Award for his performance as Katharine Hepburn's fiancé in which sophisticated comedy directed by George Cukor? The Philadelphia Story. In 1950, Stewart played an amiable gentleman and who befriends Harvey, who is 6 feet high and just happens to be what sort of creature? Ray?
A rabbit?
A white rabbit is right. Who was the director of Rear Window, a thriller in which, Gavin?
Alfred Hitchcock.
That is correct. Now a question on the Boer War. Ill will and jealousy between the Boers and people of British descent were major causes of the war. What word meaning foreigner did the Boers use when referring, Mike?
Sorry.
When referring to the British, Colin?
Afrikaner.
No, Uitlanders. In 1895, the Uitlanders attacked the Boers in what proved to be an unsuccessful uprising. Name the Scottish-born doctor who led the raid. Gavin?
Rhodes?
No. O'Neill? Sir Leander Jameson. The Boers won victories during the early stages of the war. However, they were forced to surrender a few months after Lord Roberts and Lord Kitchener brought British reinforcements into the area. Which Boer general made that surrender? Mike?
Fashoda?
No. O'Neill? Louis Botha. The remaining Boer forces fled to the hills where they carried on guerrilla warfare. In what year did these guerrillas finally surrender? Mike?
1901?
No. O'Neill? Colin?
1899.
No, 1902. And in what city, now South Africa's administrative capital, was the treaty which ended the war signed? Mike?
Johannesburg?
No. O'Neill? Colin?
Pretoria.
Pretoria is right. Okay, here's a test for you to identify the organism. Oh, we don't have time for that question. We'll go right to the short snappers now, teams. A device used to connect a truck tractor unit to a semi-trailer unit is informally called what? Ray?
A hitch?
No. Yorkton? That's a fifth wheel. What device do string players put on the bridge of their instruments to muffle the sound? Colin?
Right.
Okay. The women of the Salish tribe on Vancouver Island make what highly prized sweaters? Nobody knows. Cowichan. What is the word of Greek origin meaning of sound, acoustic, or of vocal sounds? Mike?
Resonance?
No. O'Neill? Phonic. German bacteriologist Emil von Behring deserves much of the credit for the conquest of what serious epidemic disease that, Mike?
Diphtheria?
Diphtheria is right. What is the correct term used to describe several lions? Mike?
Pride?
Right. What feature of caribou hair insulates them from the cold? David?
It contains air.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hollow, that's right. What is the term for the wide bays into which many of Scotland's rivers flow, Mike?
Locks?
No. O'Neill? Colin?
Firth.
Firths is right. Which breed of white horse is used by the Vienna Riding Academy? Breed of white horse, Mike?
Arabian?
No. Breed of white horse used by the Vienna Riding Academy for displays of dressage? Ray?
Nipazonian?
That's right. What period began with the return of Charles II to England,
The
Mike?
Restoration?
Right.
Restoration is right. Who was Ottawa's first female mayor? The answer was Charlotte Whitten. What was the Newfie bullet? Mike?
A train?
Right. 1 metric ton is equivalent to how many kilograms, Mike?
1,000?
Right. What was Charlottetown's original French name? Nobody knows. Port-la-Joie. What organ of the body is primarily affected by Bright's disease? Mike?
The lungs?
No. O'Neill? The kidneys. Which inventor had a workshop in Menlo Park, New Jersey? Mike?
Edison?
Right. Which famous Canadian landmark is the trademark of boxes of Nabisco shredded wheat? Mike?
Windsor?
No, we wanted Niagara Falls there, and unofficially the score at the end of the game is Yorkton, 710 points, O'Neill High with 180.
We'll give Judge Peter Smith a chance to verify the score, and we'll be back with more on
O'Neill High School, 180, Yorkton with 710.
Well, Sean, we have quite a wide spread between these two teams, but obviously the Yorkton lads came in. They want to go on to the Flight 3 Championship final again. They were in it last year. They won it. Who knows? Good job, Yorkton. Good try, O'Neill.
Congratulations to all our players today from Yorkton: Murray Rennie, Gavin McLaren, Mike Adamiak, and David Paulmark. And from O'Neill High School, Colin Robleski, Laura Matz, Elena Erebon, and Ray Lovely. Thank you all for playing Reach for the Top.
And our congratulations going out once again to Yorkton. You've taken your first step toward the top of Flight 3, and you'll be returning in 3 weeks' time to meet the winner of next week's game. I hope you'll be watching next week as Vanier Collegiate from Moose Jaw competes against Kindersley Composite High School. And now, on behalf of our quizmaster, Sean O'Shea, Judge Peter Smith, I'm Howard Thornton. Have a good week, and we'll see you again next week at the same time for more Reach for the Top. Bye-bye.
run up against